Hey, what's up, Joseph? Quick demo video for you for your KY Sabers Jedikiller. Just got this done. I've been working on this for a few days off and on. There was a few modifications that I had to do to the handle so that I could make this removable battery setup. But it's all done, so I wanted to go over it with you, right? It's installed the Proffie B2. You do have Shtok, the Shtok B3 NPXLs. You can't see them in there because you're blade plug, but I'll show them to you here soon. You've got a crystal chamber. So on this crystal chamber, this is a real quartz crystal that KY puts in here. It is wired in line with your blade. I do that so that I can make the removable battery, or I'm sorry, the removable chassis. So it's wired in line with your blade, and it will mimic everything that your blade does, right? But to get to everything, you want to take off this handle, and there's two screws to do that. So the first one is just back here. It's on the back side of the saber. It's this guy right here. And you can do this with your finger. It's a little tight right now because I had to cut it down. It was protruding into the blade chamber or the handle chamber. So what I did is I cut it down, but just enough to make it also a chassis retention. I need some help. The more you do this, the looser it gets, but you can use an Allen key if you need to. So we'll take that out. And then after you get that out of that guy right there, you want to flip it over, and there's one more guy right here. So remember that it's this guy right here, not this guy. It's this guy right here, right in the middle of these three. All right. So we're going to undo that as well, and that is also acts as a chassis retention. So we'll take that out, and then this entire handle just comes off just like that. Basically just a sleeve, right? So from here, when you take this off, you can see your board right there. You've got your Proffie board right here. But what you want to do is come over here with your finger. You can see that piece of chassis material that I left there. That's for you to come over here and push the chassis out like that. And then it'll pop out, and you can pull it the rest of the way out. So although this has the Smuggler's Outpost 14-pin PCB set, and you can see your female PCB in there, hopefully. If I can line that up right, you can just barely see it. Theoretically, you can take this chassis with these pins and you can put it in here however you want, right? But on this particular saber, you want to line up the top of your board with this cutout right here so that it's easy to get out. So here's your chassis. It does say KY Saber, says KY Lightsaber Jedikiller over here. And then it says Solo Sabers over here for me. And then you've got your Proffie board right here. I did put it down with a little bit of E6000 so it won't pop up on you because this everything in this saber is pretty tight and pretty compact. This was like a 1-inch chassis, so stacking the board on top of the battery and everything like that, it's very tight fit, right? There's no wires under there. I tried to make everything as tidy as I could. You will see a power wire and your two speakers, your two speaker wires right here. And then you've got a 28mm Smuggler's Outpost Elite speaker. So if I grab a battery, spring side is your negative always, so don't put your battery in backwards. When I put this battery in, I'm going to put this sticker in towards the chassis. Just like that. So you can see, you can't see the sticker here. So now we can take our saber, and remember we want the board to be up here with the cutout. You got motion controls, obviously. They might go off on you, but that's okay. So when I'm pushing that in, I'm going to push it in all the way as far as it goes and leave it alone. You can see your board right there, right? So and that's what we want because we want to be able to get our finger in here and push this out, you know, when we're not using it so we can take the battery out. So now we're going to take our shroud. Just put our shroud over here. I like to put the thumb screw in first. It's not really a thumb screw, that's what I'm calling it. This one that you do with your finger, put it in first. Again, a little tight because I did cut it down with a Dremel. Allen key is better, but I don't have an Allen key right here. I didn't bring the right size to do this demo, so I'm just tightening it down with some pliers. But see, we got this one done. Now we want to flip it over, and we're going to put this guy back in too. This one in the back is kind of the main chassis retention because it grabs right below the speaker, but before the battery. There's a little bit of meat in the chassis, right? I made sure that there was a space in the chassis so this guy could grab down and it wouldn't be grabbing on your battery and it wouldn't be ruining your speaker. So now that we've tightened that down, we could swing on. See your blade plug lighting up really good there. We could twist off. We'll take your blade plug out. So I'm using this guy right here for blade retention. And your blade plug slides right out. But you also have a grub screw right over here that you can use, or you can use both of them. It's up to you. You actually have 2 grub screws and this guy too. So you have 3. 3 is not really necessary for blade retention. You only need 1. But the options are there in case you need them. But now you can see those Shtok V3s in there. Those things are so bright. I mean, you can't even see, you can't see it now, but. And then it's a 2-button setup. So remember, your black button is going to be your activation. And then your red button over here is going to be your auxiliary. And then you can just tap it again to turn it off. Just like that. So we're going to go and throw a blade in. This takes a 1-inch NeoPixel blade. And then I'm going to use this button right. I'm going to use this thumb screw right here to tighten her down. See your crystal going. Sounds nice and loud. You do have battle mode, so if you hit the blade or the saber, you initiate blade lock up until you pull away from it. And we'll twist off. And we go to our next sound font by just tapping the auxiliary button.
Wherever you are hard to find.
Now I got all of your sound fonts on here that you wanted. You got a nice unstable for this Kylo, unstable crystal. You can see the blade lock up right here. Right? Another thing that I did is you had a little piece of a vent right here. So what I did was I printed a spacer that goes in this shroud piece and it stays in there. It's locked in there pretty tight and that's how I wanted it. It also prevents sound from coming out of there. And then it shoots all the sound out of your sound venting right here. So you do get a louder, you have more resonance. Then to get to your soundtracks, just hold down your power for a second and let go. And do the same thing to turn it off. Just hold down your power for a second and let go. Then we'll go to the next sound font.
You hard to get rid of.
Nice yellow for Rey. If you don't like the color that I chose for your sound font, you could hold down your auxiliary and tap your power and you'll hear this audible sound. Now you can twist the saber through different colors. Hopefully that's picking up good on camera. And then just pick a color you want. So if you wanted this green, just hit power, and now you've got a green blade. So when we turn that back on, we got a nice lime green blade. And you can do that with every sound font. So we'll move on to the next.
Second sister.
It's more of a hump flicker. super loud.
Nothing will stop the return of the Sith!
So you can really see that unstable effect in your crystal. Another Kylo. We'll do one more.
Team C.
Oh, we're into the stock fonts now. And I did leave the whole stock font package on here for you. Just like that. We'll turn this back on. We'll take the blade out, and then we'll just go over taking the battery out, which is, you know, the same thing we did to put it in, except for in reverse. And then I want to put your blade plug in real quick so I don't forget it. So we're going to come over here and take this screw out right here. Only a couple threads, comes right out. And we'll flip it over and we'll take this guy out right here on the back. Pop that out, and then we'll just take this handle shroud off just like that. Now remember, this is why we had our board facing this cutout, so that we could use this little piece of chassis I left to push it out. Just like that. Push it out enough where your speaker pops out, and then you can take the rest of the stuff out just like that. And then come over here from your positive side, which is over here by your speaker, and just pop it out with your finger. And that's it. That's your saber. Then we'll put this back into the saber for safekeeping. Yeah, so let me know if you got any questions. If not, we'll try my best to get this out in the mail to you tomorrow. All right, thanks, man.